Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start out this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, they teach well while learning the truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere in your children. Shalom. And in today's video is going to be another update on the MOTB, because we ultimately see that everything that's occurring in the world is ultimately leading up to this digital system, man, which is ultimately going to be, mandated where you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have this charagma, right, which is this RFID a chip the size of a grain of rice. And these are the plans and the goals of these elites, man, to ultimately have everybody chipped up. That's the whole part of their New World Order system that they're trying to bring about. So, I'm going to basically get into this video that I got, and we're going to let it play. And then I'm going to get a few precepts and, Lord's willing to be edifying, just a quick little video, But before I start the video, I want to say fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only.
Announced that it's got a partnership with Kroger, the grocery store, that they are going to use facial recognition technology, and Kroger in partnership with Microsoft, to scan your face when you go into the grocery store and give you prices of groceries based on what it thinks it can charge you. So totally.
Right. So you just heard what it is he said. So they're trying to set up a system to where ultimately they can be in control of everything in which it is you do. And that's all part of Esau Edom's New World Order, to ultimately, give you the money he wants to give you. That's why he ultimately wants to micro C-hip everybody, because the money is going to be digitally given to you through your chip, which is going to be implanted inside of your body, man. And that's ultimately what these devils want, man, because they want to have that control over the people, man, mainly over you Israelites, So I got a precept, just touching on that, because this thing is coming, man. This is their plan. The Lord is ultimately going to allow them to bring this forth because it's a part of prophecy. And it will take place. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It says, for the vision, right, meaning the prophecies, which is the MOTBC up, is a major part of prophecy, is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, right? That's talking about the implementation of this chip, man. It may not look like it's going to happen to the people in the world that are not watching, that are not paying attention. But these elites in the background, these bankers and all of these other people, they are working together to bring together this global order that they want to, mandate, man, So, yeah, I'm going to get into the video.
Just judge you for, maybe this person's wealthy enough to pay more for their eggs, so we're going to charge you more for your eggs. That is just a dystopian hellscape that we are hurtling towards.
A doctor inserts the microchip between your thumb and index finger using a device similar to a syringe. Now, these chips can actually be really helpful tools, and they utilize this.
All right. And you just heard what it is the guy just said in the video. And when Esau Edom ultimately brings this chip along to the masses, that's what he's going to make the people believe. He's going to make you believe that it's something that ultimately is good for you. It's something you can't live without. The dollar is going to be in a collapse by this time. So, he's ultimately going to, implement the chip and make it seem as though it's something that the people, want, man. He's going to present it like it's something friendly, that it's something that'll make your life more better and make it more, more, what's the word I'm looking for? More better, basically. He's going to tell you that this chip can do things that money cannot. He's going to make you think that a digital system is better than having currency and things of that nature, right? But this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11 in the KJV. It said, lest Satan, and that word Satan goes into our adversary, which is Esau Edom, none other than the so-called white man, who's the devil, right? He's the physical incarnation of the spiritual demon Satan. So it says, so let Satan get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? And his devices goes into his tricks, his schemes, his plots. It tells you that in Psalms 55 and 21, man. It said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, right? Because ultimately he's going to tell these people that this chip is something that, basically they need to get and things of that nature, ultimately for them to thrive and to be able to, walk around and to, take part in this digital society. They're going to ultimately bring about that you have to have this chip. They're going to make people think that it's something that you can't live without, and that's why it's in the scriptures called the hour of temptation. Because a lot of people in that day are going to be tempted to take it, ultimately due to them ultimately wanting to participate in society, ultimately wanting to continue to do the things in which it is that they're doing now. You know, to get internet, to get housing, to be able to get food, all of these different types of things, because you won't be able to get access to none of these things in this society soon to come unless you have this chip. You know, so that's what everything is building up towards. You know, so like I was saying again, you know, Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, you know. So, yeah, that's this man's agenda. You know, he's ultimately wants to, you know, chip everybody, and he ultimately has a hidden agenda to why he wants to bring forth this chip. And the reason is to him to have full control over you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and you other people, man. You know, that's what this devil wants to do. He wants to have full control over you. You know, he wants to be Lord over you. That goes back into this man having that God complex, him wanting to be like the Heavenly Father, man. You know, he thinks he's the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side. That's ultimately why, you know, he wants to end up C-hipping everybody, you know. But yeah, that's what time period it is that we're about to come into, brothers and sisters, that this MOTB C-hip is going to be made mandatory, you know, and we don't plan on taking it, you know, but this thing is coming fast, you know. Like I said, you got Donald Trump. He just actually said maybe about, I believe, a month or two ago, he said that America is going to be the leading country in CBDC, which is what you hear them talking about in this video, which is central bank digital currency, which is going to be the one pushing this MOTB. You know, so everything is being set up for this thing to be mandated. You know, we don't actually know the hour or the day that it's going to come, but we know through prophecy that it's coming quickly, you know.
Same technology used in phone payments. With this tiny device, your body essentially becomes a contactless key. It can open doors using sensors and can even start a car. They last...
Right? You hear what it is they're saying, right? I got to go to that precept. You know, I botched it earlier, but I'm going to get it because, you know, the spirit wanted to come out. I'm going to go to Psalms 55. Bear with me. We multitasking. I'm on this laptop too as well, so bear with me, brothers and sisters. This is Psalms chapter 55. And I'm going to read verse 21, right? Because this is what this man is going to do. You know, he's ultimately going to make people feel like this is something that's going to make your life better. It's going to be beneficial for you. You know, it's going to be something that you can't live without, you know, all of these different types of things, right? So it says, his words, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords, right? Because that's ultimately this man having a hidden motive and agenda. He's going to tell people that this thing is something that you want to take, just like he orchestrated people to take that juice in 2021, man. He's going to tell you it's something that's good, that is going to be, you know, beneficial and healthy for your body and your mind, and for you to, you know, live in his society that he's about to bring forth. He's going to tell you all these things, but the ultimately reason behind this thing is to have full ownership and control and power over you, man. Right? You basically allowing this man to be your God once you take his chip, man. That's basically what you have done. You know, once you allow him to put this device inside of you. And that's ultimately what he wants to do to a lot of people, you know. And he will chip a lot of people, but we know ultimately he won't chip the Lord's elect. You know, he's going to get 2/3 and a lot of these people here in Babylon and around the world, but the Lord's elect will not take that chip, right? And I'm going to go to a precept just to prove that. This Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. And it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, this is Lord Yahushua talking to the elect, because this is who he's going to protect in those times. This is who he's going to keep from taking this implantable device, while everybody else is taking it, getting chipped up and thinking it's the next big thing and all of that stuff. The Lord's elect is not going to take it. So it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? Because this is the hour of temptation when this chip is going to be made mandatory, man, right? And it says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? And it's trying people because it's a test, man. And the only people that are going to pass that test are the Lord's elect, man. They're going to pass that test. They're not going to take this C-hip, right? So, yeah, I'm going to get back into the video.
Anywhere from 10 to 20 years and can be removed with a small incision in the skin.
What do you say to those people who might think this is insane?
Just come hang out with us for a bit. I bet you any money by the end of the weekend you're going to leave with a microchip. My name is Anastasia Sin. I'm a magician and a biohacker. You can even hear my hand because my hand has like 8 magnets in it, so my whole hand is now a speaker.
This goes to my website. This is a LED light. There's like a TED Talk how we're all cyborgs.
You are all actually cyborgs. Suddenly we're a new form of Homo sapiens.
It really resonated with me. My house, my car, my clothes are my exoskeleton. Without them, I'm not exactly me. So adding more technology didn't really seem that weird.
That's literally a chunk of silicon with a battery and a circuit board.
If you are someone who hacks your skin with an electronic, we call them a grinder. Let's see what we got in the Dangerous Things kit of how to become a cyborg. All right, let's see what it says, shall we?
Hey, ABC News. Let me
See, and you basically already see it just how people are acting already. So you already got people here in Babylon the Great, America, and around the world that are already putting, you know, microchips and things of that nature inside of their body, man. You even got a man that I just watched the video, came out not too long ago. He got the Neuralink brain chip already inserted inside of his head. So, I mean, you already got a lot of people that are already taking and putting this technology within their bodies, man. So it's not going to be far-fetched that the government, you know, and these elites whose plans it is, ultimately it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's plan, but he's going to use Esau on the left-hand side to fulfill his will, which is a part of prophecy to allow these things to take place, right? But, you know, people are going to take these things because they're already accustomed to, you know, putting stuff inside of their body, man. So when this chip does get implemented, that's why you're going to have so many people to take it, you know, and this is what's coming. So I'm going to get this preset right here just to touch on it because this is what's coming, brothers and sisters. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 in the KJV, and it says, and he, right, who is that he? That's talking about the elite banking families, the Rothschilds, the Gettys, the DuPonts, Rockefellers, all of these elite families of the Edomites that are, you know, joined in unison, who ultimately want to bring forth this digital chip, man, right? And it said that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. When you go into that word mark in the Greek, it goes into charagma, which goes into an etching or a stamp or an imprint, right? So it's going to be something, like I said, the RFID chip, a chip the size of a grain of rice that they're going to, you know, put inside of your skin, man, you know, through that Karax, through that needle, or, you know, whatever instrument that they use to ultimately insert it inside of you. But, you know, they're going to, you know, put that charagma inside of your skin, man, right? And it says in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that's where they're going to implement it at. And when you go into the word right hand, it's not talking about that everybody will receive it in their right hand, because you ultimately have people that are left-handed. So that just goes into your power hand. So if a person writes with their right hand, they're going to more than likely get it in their right hand, and vice versa. If a person does things with their left hand, they're going to get it in their left hand, right? Or in their foreheads, right? And this is the reason why a lot of people is going to take that chip. Verse 14. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So that's ultimately why it's called the hour of temptation, and why you're going to have so many people taking it, because they won't be able to operate in this new society unless they have this chip, right? And that's what's going to ultimately make a lot of people bow down to Esau Edom and take his mark, man. But we know ultimately that, you know, and I'm going to get to that, but I'm going to let the video finish playing. We know what's going to be the judgment of the people that ultimately take that mark, man. If you receive this C-hip, then ultimately you're going to be destroyed, man, by the Lord when he makes his second return, you know.
show you what a body can do.
Why did you get that first implant?
Because my daughter wanted one. I said, listen, I'm not sure how safe this is for people, so how about I go and I get one, and if it's safe, like after a year and I don't have any health problems, I won't have a problem with you getting one. I'll even buy it for you. Like, and she to this day doesn't have one, and I have 52. Yeah,
52, that sounds like an addiction.
a little bit.
At some point, you know, 100 years in the future, everything will be an implant. When you guys come together every year, what is the big wish list item that you all hope to one day make?
The thing everyone wants is Neuralink. It's frustrating because
Right, and you hear her talking about it, man. See, all of this is moving and pushing towards the MOTB CHIP, man. You know, you brothers and sisters see it, you know. And we know that these things are going to happen soon because, like I said before, you have Donald Trump and Elon Musk as the front runner, who we know is really in control of Trump. You know, he's in the White House right now, man, and this is what he's pushing towards. This is what he's pushing for. You know, so like I said, this thing is coming soon, man. So, you know, I'm going to get this precept right here. You know, just touching on what's going to be the judgment of people that take that CHIP, because as you can see, you already got a lot of people that are already taking certain different type of chips in their bodies. So when this CHIP does come, these people are going to willingly take it. You know, a lot of these people are, you know, 2/3 and these heathens. And the Lord is going to destroy you people, man. Right? This is Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them with a loud voice saying, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark, right, in his forehead or in his hand, this is the point, verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, talking about the Lord righteous anger, right? And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, right? That's talking about the laser beams from the chariots and also those thermonuclear missiles that's going to come over here and hit America, man, right? And it says, in the presence of the holy angels, right? And in the presence of the Lamb, which is our Lord Yahushua, who's going to be in that fathership, shooting down those laser beams out of the UFOs, they call it, which are the chariots of Israel, upon the people that take that charagma, man, and that are not of his elect. So, you know, this is what time period it is that we're about to come into, brothers and sisters, you know. So, like I said, you know, that's just all I had to say for today's video, you know, a little quick hit, something through the spirit. I pray it be edifying. Till the next time, I'm going to say, Shalom.